like you
Yeah.
gotta use like something like that.
Yeah,
Like scratching stuff.
Oh. They did not show up. Oh, weird.
Yeah.
I literally like sat there and it didn't do anything, and I'm like, how is this not working? I don't like.
He's so
So
in
there's like a
tune
bad
with his
view.
Yeah, and
emotions, like
I was like,
control.
like the silver.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I thought he was so like controlled and in tune with his emotions. Like he'd be saying something, and then the next minute it'd be really dark and deep, and then you just like continue rolling with it. Oh,
You get certain color, he almost started crying, and that's honestly pretty typical. But I think it's a great thing all to see that you have a concept of what active duty is going to be like, but sometimes it takes different perspectives from different individuals for you to really grasp this is significant. The profession of arms there's no messing around. So that's good. You think you'll meet any Chief Master Sergeant Harringtons on active duty? Hope so. Hopefully, yeah. Me too. I guarantee you will. I mean, just as many that aren't as strong as him, but yeah, he is a sterling example. Y'all have fun at PT this morning?
Yes,
sir.
You all were cracking me up during initial formation when you had to get in the wet grass for the first set of sit-ups, and all I hear is this, everything's quiet until, and then by the end, people are sliding into home base. That was so much fun. That was a good time. Did you get a noise complaint? That would have been disappointing y'all. Apparently it was a former Marine. Like, really? Did you forget where you came from? For the Jodies? Or? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know that one part that we run through the woods, there are a couple of houses.
There was it Arnie?
I did not, but I heard
Army
about
Colonel
it.
Rainbow? Yeah.
He did not. Apparently we don't have too many friends in the wild. Deal with it. Deal with it. I'll take that noise complaint as yeah, UWPD came over and they're like, oh, I'm gonna address this with you. No, who's got it open? Alright, so we didn't get a chance to get into Profession of Arms or our leadership project last week. I gave you a couple extra days, or the leadership definition, starting leadership project. If y'all want to take those out. If you put them on tape, on just lucid paper, this time that's fine. Eventually I want them typed out and part of your entire leadership project. At the end of the semester, you'll hand it that, like, everything in as one document or tab or however you want to do it, so that I have the whole thing collected. Anybody want to share their definition of leadership? Don't all jump at the opportunity. Go ahead.
My definition, I said, I believe the definition of leadership boils down to the ability to make decisions on behalf of others. As a leader, someone has designated decisions for a group or team. In other words, a leader is just letting a follower whose role is to make decisions.
Interesting. What to do with decisions? A dynamic follower. Okay. Who else? Jeff?
Said having vision and the ability to influence and motivate others to work in synergy through times of adversity and prosperity to successfully accomplish end goal.
Say what?
Lots.
What's your definition of synergy?
Just working or cooperation and harmony.
Okay.
Or like
Person I won't throw them under the bus. Last year you used synergy in their definition. I asked them what synergy meant to them. Synergy is more than one person or entity working together, and the sum of those individuals is greater than 1 plus 1, i.e. like 1 plus 1 would equal 3 would be synergy. So putting their combined talents together makes a greater answer. Well, so we got vision in the leadership choice.
I said, guiding others through motivation to complete tasks in the pursuit of innovation and improvement for a good cause.
Guiding. Thank you for not putting me. Anybody else want to fill in? Okay, if you could pass them over to Katie. Appreciate it. We'll do a little bit of speeding through this profession of arms briefing since we discussed a significant amount of it already in the classes that we had. Plus, I really like this discussion, and it's kind of fun to see who's what and if they agree with the assessment. I mean, how many questions was it?
10.
10 questions.
10 to 40.
See how representative it is. All right. Here's the overview. What we're going to be talking about here for maybe the next half hour. Sample behaviors that we are looking for, i.e., what is sensible? What constitutes a profession? 3 overarching characteristics. We're talking about Samuel Huntington. Anybody look up who Samuel Huntington is? No? Anybody read anything written by Samuel Huntington? Differentiate between an institution and occupation. And I don't like that one. Talk about the oath of office, and then the country's expectations. All right, a profession. We talked about this before, right? We made a list on the board. What we got: leadership and leadership profession. Pretty similar words that you can use to define it, right? To a degree. When we think of leaders, we think of professionals, and we think of them in a profession. But from a definition standpoint, looking at a vocation or occupation characterized by special knowledge and skills, and with the overall improvement of society. That's the goal of said profession. Basic requirements: ethical behavior. Like our core values, there's an assumption that there is a moral base there before the individual potentially even comes into that profession, that they have that background and that upbringing so that they can uphold the standards. There's some initial training and education, right? Anybody think of a profession that maybe doesn't have any education or training? I can't think of it. There's a continued development of that education piece, right? It's not just what the individual receives to get that plaque on or degree on the wall or certificate. There's continuing education. They continue to increase their knowledge, expand it, and become more of an expert in that field. And then finally, as we talked about with the improvement of society, there's a dedication to public service above your personal wants and desires. That service before self. Military profession. We have all those things. Ethical behavior. values. Would it be tough to be in the military if you didn't come up with some semblance of morals or core values? I think it would be pretty hard. It can't be a job, right? It's not. You guys listen to Chief Harrington. Did he make it sound like that was just a job 9 to 5? Nope. Significantly more. Preparation through training and education. What are y'all doing? Must be a profession. You think you're going to have more training after you leave these hallowed halls? University of Wisconsin. Bad. Both tactical and professional. Military training. And of course, one of our core values, service before self. Exemplified in that last one, dedication. Alright. We do have certain aspects that go above and beyond the normal definition of a profession or a professional. But certainly there are some that overlap. Lane's not here for the Venn diagram. We are very focused on preserving the peace, right? There are other professions that are like that. Obviously, in the local community, you've got your police departments. At the national level, there are certain entities in our government that's their whole purpose, right? Preserve the peace. Support to defend the Constitution, national policies. Again, there are other entities that are similar to us, take similar oaths, right? Congressmen, senators, judges take that same oath. So, we've got a lot in common with different professions. We operate at the national level, so we are implementing national objectives, not anything that's down at the cities or state level. It's our responsibility, responsible to our nation, for aggressive acts that peril the peace and security of the United States. So this Samuel Huntington guy, got his initial degree, his undergrad from Yale, and when he was like 18. PhD from Harvard at 23. I guess he's kind of smart. He's all right. He has written several books. One of them was called The Soldier in the State. Okay, and he talked about 3 characteristics of professions. Right there: expertise, responsibility, and corporateness. When we put it in the context of military profession. When we're talking about expertise, you're going to get this piece at your first duty station, right? Chad's already got it. He had to go to a tech school to learn how to be a maintainer, right? And how was that?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. As long as like 6, 8 months.
Down Shepherd.
Yep.
So, Shepherd, Wichita Falls, is the home of which beer? Is that Shiner Bachman? Is Shiner Bachman down there?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, Altus Air Force Base is right across the border in Oklahoma. But if you look at a restaurant menu, Shiner's in the import section. And I was like, it's like 20 miles that way out. Well, honey, it's because it's above 3.2. It was all alcohol. But I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, I was still 19, so I was looking at it.
Yeah. Well, what else I heard about some young maintainers underage at Shepherd Air Force Base who still wanted to partake in alcohol. Yes, they were underage. So what they did was they got hand sanitizer and turkey basters.
Oh my god.
Filled them up.
Oh.
Whoop.
Oh.
Launched. Yeah, so they'd go to PT and they'd be stumbling around. What did you do? Nothing.
Wow.
They figured that they weren't drinking.
Is that
Injecting
counselor? Is
themselves.
that-
didn't even think of that.
Yes.
Okay, I
Out.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's what 19-year-old maintainers think about.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Is that more than that?
No, they're just sketchy. Yeah.
All of us.
Wild crew.
So, again, expertise, technical knowledge. You're going to learn it. You got to become a subject matter expert of whatever job you end up doing in the Air Force, right? That is first and foremost very important. After that, you're going to continue to add to your knowledge. Maybe not specifically about maintenance, because you're a maintenance officer or you're a logistics officer, but you're going to learn about what it means to be a professional officer. Okay, professional military education, and the enlisted side has the same thing. For the officers, about 5 years after you leave this location, after you're a young captain, you're going to go to squadron officer school, right? You're going to go for 5 weeks and get a bit more information on what it means to be a professional officer. As a major, you might get selected to go to intermediate developmental education, which is a year-long school. Okay, I went to Fort Leavenworth. I got to hang out with the Army for a year, and that was great because, like, it was very strategic, focused until about after Thanksgiving, and then the instructor was like, "Hey, it's going to get pretty Army-centric after this. Just have fun, learn a little bit." It was a good year. It was a good year. And then as lieutenant colonels, you might get selected to go to senior developmental education, which is another year of schooling. Really smart, big brain. On the enlisted side, you've got Airman Leadership School as a senior airman, as you're getting ready to pin on staff sergeant. You've got NCO Academy as probably a tech sergeant, senior NCO Academy as a master sergeant. So there's continuing development, but it might not be exactly in your career field. It's making you better officers, better non-commissioned officers, so that we can be better stewards to our country. All right. And then broad liberal knowledge. Nah, I don't have any. Responsibility. Yeah, we got some different ones. We got responsibility to a document, right? A little bit different. We have to maintain the highest standards. This slide did say high standards. I'm telling you, you have to maintain the highest standards because that is what's expected. When you see like Pew survey reports or results for who the U.S. populace really respects, military is typically in that 80-90% range. Your congressmen are typically around 12 or 13%, right? So we have to maintain that then, and you should. You're part of a long blue line. A lot of people came before you to maintain and set that standard so high. So it's our goal to keep that going, and finally to serve the populace. Corporateness. What does that mean? Here's some elements of it, but what does corporateness mean? Go ahead.
kind of the more businessy side of things.
Okay.
Kind of like running the military, I guess, and like maybe shutting things down and things like that.
Thinking like a corporation.
Well, kind of, but also just like, I mean, it's like your education, it's like, I don't know where that came from.
Okay. Any other trainings? What we're talking about when we say corporateness here is that we have rules, regulations, ways we do things that are completely specific to our profession. All right? We have independent social units. We've got clubs on bases that no one else gets to go to, right? We've got entities that are solely military. We've got education and training that no other professions go to, okay? Because they're very specific to what we do. We've got our own promotion system, right? Congress has to approve all of your promotions, but all the paperwork and determining who is on that list is done all internally. No one else has a hand in it. The military promotes itself. We also have our own judicial system, right? I mean, you can end up in civil court, don't get me wrong. But we have our own rules and regulations that we live by. And you can go to jail for them. You can lose money, you can lose stripes, you can lose rank, all kinds of things. Our professional knowledge. We even make up our own words. That's how corporate we are. Officership, look it up in the dictionary. It's not there. What does it mean? What's officership mean to you? For some reason, that's like the only thing I remember as a freshman in ROTC was the old guy standing up and saying, "What's officership?" It's an officer on the ship. No, I didn't say it. The kind of expectations of us as an officer, right? It's how we are supposed to live. It's how we are supposed to be defined, what we do. Patriotism, honor, integrity, loyalty, confidence, self-sacrifice, an oath, support and defend. Oh, by the way, when I put stuff in red on slides, dead giveaway. Of course, these slides are all posted. Just saying. Just make sure Lang knows and make sure Schultz knows. Right. Attitude or state of mind that embodies personal pride and commitment to serve one's country in the professional arms. How many of you have actually looked at the oath of office that you will take here in not so long? Now, of course, you guys, it's something that's memorized in your warrior knowledge, yes? No, no, it's not. Okay. So you've taken an oath already, right? Oath's of enlistment. Fairly similar. A little bit different. This top part, yep, all the same. Except for the point of second. United States. Sworn to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Right? Bear true faith and allegiance to the same. This is where the officer and the enlisted side good part a little bit. Take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Right? You're not planning on taking this and then hightailing to Russia. Well, faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. This embodies the ideals Americans believe in and what they expect out of us. Now, we're not the only country that has an oath, right? You wouldn't think so? No? And you would think that most other professions in other countries take oaths as well. So, let's look at that. Now ours, I mean, we are swearing allegiance to a document, right? It's not always the case in some other oaths. Why would we want to swear allegiance to a document vice an individual? Okay, well, one reason would be that a document doesn't change. Doesn't it?
Well,
Do we have amendments?
I suppose it does change.
Okay.
But it has to be made to be changed.
Okay.
The people have to decide to change it.
You You bet. It's an ideal of the people, by the people, for the people, right? It's not a person. What can happen to a person? Get angry, they can go batshit crazy, right? And now you've sworn allegiance to that crazy. What do you do then? Leave. Yeah, that didn't go so well for 2 minutes. Okay. Another example. This one's a long one. This one's a 2-pager. Ready to change the next page? Love that last line. Punished by the Soviet people, universally hated and despised by the working people. The hammer and the sickle. See, you all don't have it that bad.
You don't have to unquestionably obey.
What?
Unquestionably obey.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so not much wiggle room, huh? Like zero wiggle room. A lot of our oaths have a little bit of sway in case things go terribly crazy. Alright, any questions with the professional one? Again, we covered it in a couple other stuff, so I figured we could go over those so we can get to desk assessment. So excited. Anybody need a break? Get ready to carry on? Alright. This assessment time. Is everybody comfortable with sharing what they ended up coming out of? Now granted, okay, so did anyone go through the process of answering 10 little questions and then read the descriptions on what they were supposedly, and they were like, no, this is not anymore. Anybody come to that doesn't surprise me. I'm just kidding. So you didn't feel like it was represented. You felt there was a different category that represented you more.
Yes.
Yes. Did anyone have two that were really close? Most of y'all? Did you feel you were more represented by the one that you were close to, or was it one that you were completely?
Well, that was close to. They're all within 2 of each other.
They're all within 2 of each other. Yeah. Anybody have anything like that? Or that every single one of them was really close? Yeah. Yeah. And that's standard. I would say most people are like 2 of them are fairly close. And maybe even if it was 1 or 2 lower, they'd be like, yeah, well, I know myself enough that I would categorize myself closer to this one rather than that. So, Miss Heikla, if you could get up on the board. And we'll take a count, okay? So, for those that ended up coming up as dominators, raise your hand. First or second. For the highest propensity, whichever the highest score that you got. For the dominators. We had 2. And if you felt like, even though it was your highest score, you felt like there was one that really is more representative and you were within 1 or 2, you can pick that one. So you want to pick dominators too? Yeah. 3. You don't have to write names. We're just putting numbers.
Oh, okay. So I was right.
Influencers. That is not. 2.
Oh.
Alright. Our steady eddies. 4. And finally, our conscientiousness. 2? 3? 3? Oh, yeah. And put 4 there. I think Schultz was conscientious. His was real close with S. I know you all were looking around when people were raising their hand. Any surprises? Anyone you were like, one reason I like doing something like this is that everybody is different. Okay, and even though this just, we had a little conversation out here about categorization. I don't really like labeling people. I don't think that's necessarily right, but I think it's a good idea to see that people think different, and that we need to potentially interact with different people in different ways, especially when we're trying to lead them. And if we're dominators, we can't lead everybody with a big stick and always be changing stuff, because our steady eddies are going to freak out. Okay, it just does not work for them. All right, and it's not their fault. It's just how they're wired. Right? Do I make you guys quiet? Is that what it is? I mean, I went through this last year with that class, and man, they were loud. Big giggles.
Couple dominators in there.
There are a couple dominators in that group. That's true. But apparently we got 3 dominators in this group. Dominance. Boom. Do it and do it now. Right? That's right. Schweitzer doesn't have it up yet. Alright. We want to get results. Right? Does this fit our dominators? Yes? No?
Yeah. Oh, I was like so across the board. It's so hard
Okay.
to pick one, but that's what came out.
Is there one that you feel like you relate with more?
I would probably relate more with C, to be honest, but I don't know. It just depends on the situation, I think.
And that's okay. I mean, again, there are only 10 questions there
Yeah.
that are supposedly determining the rest of your life, right? Labeling you for the rest of your life. And I will tell you, I've done assessments like this, different ones, and different times of the day, I will score markedly different. Or maybe different situations, even at the same time of the day. If I've just gone for a run or something, I'll score one thing. But if I'm stressed out about something, I'll score completely different. Go ahead.
When I was filling mine out, I kind of caught myself thinking like in different situations. So like a question 1 or 2, I was in like a social, like happy, not like work way I was thinking of myself. And then like more so I got into like, oh, how am I in specific jobs? So I think that determines it too. Like when you are trying to get something done versus like how you are if you just like meet someone on the street.
Yeah, and I think in the instructions it even says,
Yeah.
think of yourself in a specific situation. But that's really hard unless you're in it.
Right.
And I agree, it can be totally different. It can be totally situationally different. As to what you might say and how you might answer the same questions. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first time I filled it out, I filled out the numbers in the oval.
Uh-huh.
So then I had to go back through like quickly and like fill them in, and then I'm like looking at them like, oh, did I put that for 4? And like, so I think just
How much
from
time had
going through it and then refilling it out, I'm like,
Yeah.
shoot. But anyway, I think it turned out pretty close to what it is. But I think it'd be interesting to have someone else that's like really close to you fill this out about you, because I might have skewed perceptions of what I think.
That's a great
I'm
point.
really friendly. Maybe I'm not. Maybe people don't. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like,
Right.
that'd be kind of interesting.
I'm the smartest one in the room.
Right.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Absolutely. Typically, though, when we think of dominators, these are their tendencies. Likes initiating change and taking risk. Like doing that. What don't they like? Appearing weak or soft. I think they don't like weak and soft. They don't like boredom. They always want things jumping, exciting. They don't like routine. Yeah. Dominators, does that sound like you? You guys are all, I don't know what I am. One of the dominators from last year said that he does this all the time. He'll be like, there's no need for change, but I'm going to do it just to screw with people. I'm not going to tell you who. Any guesses? Go ahead.
Jill.
Nope.
Really?
Birds. I'm not telling you.
It was one of those two.
They both.
So how do we relate to these maniacs? Gotta be to the point of the conversation, right? They don't want to hear about your cat. They don't want to hear about Bell's cat. No, they want to get to business. Let's do this. Let's get it done. Do it and do it now. They like having guidelines, but don't necessarily expect them to follow. They want to be the initiators. They want to be the ones out front. They don't want to waste the time. So if you're a dominator, how do you deal with all those other idiots that are just wasting your time? Well, you probably need to have a greater awareness, right? A greater appreciation that maybe they're not so dumb, and maybe their ideas are pretty good. Not as good as yours, but maybe they warrant at least a thought. You need to learn to negotiate. You are not always correct, just 99% of the time. And patience. All right, our influencers. 2. Getting across the board, you guys would. Our party people. Our chatty Cathys. Paige, I don't know why I would think that you would, Rich, sometimes I can see it. Sometimes I can see it. Yeah? He's a,
I was going to shoot that
very well. They want to get to know you. They want to know everything about you. They want to be the life of the party. They want everyone to like them, right? Most of the time we do. Most of the time. They like to hear about your problems. Get out of solve. They want to fix things. But they also want freedom from responsibility. What they don't like, don't tell me I did something wrong. I don't like people. Do you not like people being upset? I don't know who does. Who likes that?
Who wants that?
Public humiliation? I love it. No. Sometimes they can be overly playful. Emotional outbursts. You all have emotional outbursts. Were you known as a child to have emotional outbursts? Yeah.
I don't know. You have that for sisters.
Compared to your sister, who did your parents have to say, well, that's maybe a bad comparison? She's probably right out there with you.
I didn't break down crying. I just had more energy than my brother. I can
Yeah, it was energy.
Yeah, energy. I go.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
You like to verbalize your thoughts and feelings? No. No. Hey,
Probably.
probably. How do we relate to that? Relaxed, sociable. Let that verbalize. Do you like hearing yourself talk more or hearing others talk?
Others, I think.
Yeah? You like listening more than. Don't go too deep with them. Also never escape. And you use term humor. You like funny stuff? Well, okay. So Lane, let's see. Which one are you? A dominator, an influencer, a steady Eddie, or a conscientious? Were you similar on a couple?
I know what I was like low on B.
Low on the dominator.
Yeah.
I would say also with the propensity of our classes to be full of a lot of tech-centric individuals, we see a lot of S's and C's. And then those non-techies come in and are influencers. And then there's Travis. How can they deal with the rest of us? They gotta try and become objective as best they can, even though they want to stay subjective and flowery and emotional. They gotta come up with good reasons to get us to go with them and believe. Learn to be direct and firm. Is that a challenge? For either of you being direct and firm with others? No, with that. Yeah?
I think it's easier to be direct, but not the firm is probably what I mean. To the point.
You want to be right. Gain more control over use of time. So when you put the dominator and the influencer in the same room, that might as well be a steel cage. They're just dominators freaking out because that influencer won't shut up. And they just want to hear about Bell's cat, and they're like, I don't care about Bell's cat. We gotta do this. We gotta get it done. Bad combination. Oil and water. That's why they don't do great. Steady Eddies. Alright. Likes to be involved, but probably not too involved. Wants everybody to do their fair share. Things run smoothly. I don't want too many ups and downs. If the road's flat, that's good. Stability, security, conflict free. Yeah. Where are my steadies?
I don't know if you guys talked about like different people we know like this, but like at field training there was a girl in my flight and like our FTO pointed out multiple times like she's like just a like go and she's like steamrolling and if you don't go with her you get left behind. So like she's like really, yeah.
Steady Eddies. Does that fit? Yep. growing up, were you ever referred to as Switzerland?
No, actually, but I am pretty neutral on everything.
What do you think, Drew?
Yeah.
Does it fit?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Something wrong with it, right?
I mean, the other ones, there's some things that I'm like, okay, I kind of like that too, but so far this is the most relatable.
The most relatable. How about you, Chef?
Pretty much to a T, sir.
Now, was on the assessment, was your steadiness much higher than the other ones, or?
I was pretty close with conscientiousness too, sir.
What they don't like, mass confusion. Do not like this. I don't know what's happening. It's very stressful. Or your dominators are loving it. Even your influencers are like, yeah, that's fine. Talk our way out. Figure it out. Anybody got a cat? Dominators do them. I guarantee if my wife took this, she is a big D. She loves confrontation. She, and she's like, well, we're just talking about oh, emotionally congested inside. Do you find yourself accommodating? Overly? Sometimes. Yeah. Predictable? Tell me crazy predictability. Is there something that you do where other people would be like, oh, that's kind of crazy? Or you put the dates on your underwear? Anything crazy? No. You always have to eat cereal out of the same bowl, or everything. I was have to think out there this month. Yeah. Borderline compulsive with the ass. We had one steady Eddie executive officer flying squadron. She was way OCD, like everything. She'd have her desk set all perfectly. So. If she was gone and I happened to be walking by her desk, things might have gotten real. Or maybe you just turned one more. Because she needed someone to help her out of the steady. It wasn't my fault. I was just helping. How do we relate to these crazies? Because we're all crazy about it. Gotta be logical and systematic, right? Yeah. I'm surprised you're a weather major. As illogical as their kids, right? Butterfly flaps its wing and you're
Come on. Oh.
Adapt slowly to change. This is my daughter. Oh my God, she needs to. You have to let it. It's like a 10-step process to. Hey honey, we're going to change your cereal from that Cheerios to Lucky Charms. What? Okay, we're going to start. We'll tell you a week in advance. You can start thinking about it, and then hopefully by next Monday, when you see only a box of Lucky Charms. Good. How do you deal with the rest of us crazies? I need to learn to deal with change better. And oh, by the way, there's a bit of change in the Air Force and the military. Moving every 2 to 3 years. Never knowing what's coming next for assignments or TDYs. Definitely got to get used to that. Do you find yourself to be assertive?
I don't. In field training, I found that whenever.
Just the fact that you raised your hand and tell me whether you're assertive or not. Go ahead.
I was just thinking that in field training, I found myself whenever I was like the most assertive that I usually tended to get the best results out.
But how comfortable are you with that?
Oh, I'm not comfortable at all doing it. It was awful.
Yeah. I tell you what, I used to be so unassertive. Not that I am now, but I was complete introvert. This guy. Still am. Honestly, deep down. Standing up and doing a class for an hour and 15 minutes is challenging for me. It is really mentally draining for me. But in college was really my transition time where I went from complete wallflower to at least working on it because I saw the individuals that were succeeding even in ROTC, and I said, wow, I really probably have to change my ways if I'm going to make this Air Force thing work. And it was hard, and I had to force myself out of my comfort zone more often than not. And I remember I'd do some things and I'd be like, that's the dumbest jackassery thing. And people would be like, man, you were assertive, that was great. I'm like, oh, it was an ass. But, you know, there you have it. Conscientiousness. Who we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Schultz, I believe, so.
Schultz 5 and 6. Woo! I think my scores on steadiness and conscientiousness were really, really close. But I like the answers on this one better. Yes. What I always say, I'm by the book, right? I want specific criteria. I want to know what I'm getting judged on. And I don't want to not know, because then that makes me nervous. I want to know exactly what people are expecting from me. I really like accurate things. Okay? And I pick up really crazy fine details. If you have not had me come up to you and say something that you're like, how did you see that minute little nothing there? Then you will. I guarantee in 4 years I'll say something that you. Yeah, my attention to detail radar is ridiculous off the hook, off the chart. And it's only gotten worse. I do like setting meetings at high standards. Are these fitting with our other conscientiousness? Yeah. Favorites? Good fit? I wasn't sure what you were going to be. What do you think? I wasn't sure. It's kind of that curveball. I think it depends on the situation. Yeah? Yeah. I wasn't sure. You like things logical, systematic?
Yeah, if I'm trying to get something done, or if someone depends on me, I hate it when someone's like, yeah, just do this. Like I had a boss. I got back from field training. I got back to my job, and the first thing I did is went up to him and said, well, now I'm back here. What do you want done? What do you want changed? And my boss said, just do the same thing.
And you're like, no, I need specific details.
You want, yeah, it drove me crazy. I had to make things up and come up with my own list of specific details. I think it drives me bonkers.
Like earlier today in the lab I worked in, like I had to do like these PLC plates, and I asked my grad student 3 times. I'm like, okay, so I'm doing this for this, this for this, and this for this. And he said yes. And I asked him like 3 different times. Went in there, did it, like it didn't run, and I was like, keep the solution he told me to use. I was like, I don't think it's gonna work. So I went back in, and he's like, oh, why did you use that? And I was like, I asked you 3 times. This is what I was doing, and you told me to do that. And he's like, oh, we'll do it like this. And I was like, you said acid will make this explode. So he said, yeah. I was just very. I like to double check things. No, because
do you consider Chinese very logical and systematic?
No.
That's interesting. It's like when you're majoring in something that drives you bonkers.
Yeah, it definitely like expands your brain. It's a completely different way of thinking, for me at least. But German, on the other hand, is more than I can handle.
Exactly. Yeah, that's as systematic as it comes. All right. Oh, we don't like it. Another one of us. Yeah. I'm not sure what that person is. Sarah, you want that shirt?
No.
No. I just want to run my sister.
We're not really fond of spontaneous displays of affection. There's a story here.
I don't like hugs at all.
So you do want this shirt.
Well, I wouldn't wear it, but.
Right. but I do wear it every day. Every day. I do not like changes in surprises. Especially surprises. Oh. Your birthday's coming up. No surprise. Don't want it. Freaks me out. Talking about his or her personal. It doesn't bug me too much. Does that bug you?
Well, it's always just awkward because I feel like I'm, complaining or just talking too much about myself. like a couple days ago, one of my friends was asking about RTC. Yeah, you can stop asking me questions now. But
For me, things kind of depends who I'm talking to. If it's like my close friends and it's like whatever, I don't care. But if it's someone I like just met, then it's like I would typically be the one asking more questions of them than necessarily just talking about myself, unless they're like super pushy.
I use that kind of like an armor almost, instead of letting them ask me questions. Ask all these questions. The pseudo influencer.
We can become over analytical just by a little bit. We can become so critical of performance that it's certainly detrimental to that performance. We get so nugged down in the details that we miss the bigger picture as it goes on by. This is the guy who, when the light bulb burns out in the gear handle, even though the gear's down, they're like, why, I can't figure this out, the light bulb's out, but the gear handle's down, as they're on a downward progression into the swamp.
Are you indecisive, sir?
What's that?
Are you indecisive?
I am very decisive.
Decisive?
Yes.
That seems to be kind of against.
I would agree. When you get so focused on it. I worked with a boss once. Holy cow. He was very, very focused on the details. That was great, but he would want all the information before he did anything. And more often than not, a decision was made well before he was ready to make that decision. And he was very, very, very challenging to work with. This guy, literally, he didn't go home until 1 or 2 in the morning every single day. But he never got stuff done. The ops group commander would be standing on his desk. Hey, I need these performance reports. I need them like 3 weeks ago. Boss, I'm working on it. I need them to be perfect. They're, no, they are perfect. You need to cut it. Stop. Go ahead.
Or how did he make it as far as he did?
He's a great staffer.
Oh.
Terrible leader.
Oh.
Terrible leader, but he can make a PowerPoint presentation. Really good at that. Have you seen that, Chad? There's some officers that feel like,
Yeah, we get pretty frustrated because I think most crew chiefs are pretty dominant for the most part. So we like to just go and get it fixed and get it done. And a lot of times we'll just be having to wait on stuff that's like they're waiting to make a call. We could have been out there and tried two different things and had it done by now. So that's stuff that we have to do.
yeah, you'll definitely find 2 different types of officers: those that are leaders and those that are good at staff work, or like a good exec type, really people pleasers. But how do we relate with these crazies? So your expectations, tell them exactly what to do, and it better be right. Or things will blow up. Deadlines. I'll tell you what, if I didn't have a deadline, I'd give up on it. I guarantee it. There's always something more important. Dependability is very important to me. If I can't depend on you, you are dead to me. Same thing with loyalty. What about that emotionally reserved part? Sarah, were you conscientious? I see less emotion on you than you. And that's not a criticism, but I think that's what you like, right? You are down to business, head down, working. Let's get this done. I don't need to go woo. I'm like that. I'm a conscientious listener. You hear me woohooing all the time.
It is.
How can we deal with that